I'm smart. If I say I want something, then that's truly what I want because I already mapped it out in my head and ran through all the equations on why I need that. I'm not dependent on useless thoughts. Free will should be a thing, and you need to stop playing God over my life. Oh, look at Mr. Big Brain over here making the most advanced mathematical calculations just to decide something. Hey everyone, Xenon here, and welcome to some more r/IAmVerySmart. Let's get started. So, I think in order to fully grasp Arcane, you have to have some higher level of empathy and skill in understanding and analyzing people and their emotions, and why they feel those emotions the way they do. To top it off, you have to really pay attention because every single line packs a punch and they often use subtle visual cues or motifs to send messages to the viewer. Oh, those just fly right over the casual viewer's head. The characters were written in a way that was supposed to make you feel connected to them, and without that connection, it's hard to care for the plot because its value lies in people's perspectives, trauma, and the relationship shown in the show. Every great show is going to have some people who hate it, or people who simply don't understand it. I hate Star Wars, for example. Doesn't make it a bad show, and everyone who enjoys it is free to do so. I am not going to start an entire discussion board about how Luke Skywalker was a shallow character. On the other hand, I think a lot of people are just looking for attention. There is no better way to get attention than to publicly shit on something everyone loves. To be fair, you need a pretty high IQ to understand Arcane. The word arcane literally means understood by few. No way! I thought Riot invented it. Yeah, I'd like to ask the writers more about the name. I know arcane refers to types of magic in some games, but I wonder if they ever thought of the meaning of the word, because if the name was intended to mean both, then the writers are actually geniuses. Oh! Words can have multiple meanings? Oh, what a genius concept. This next genius is so advanced, he writes his own questions at school. 37 years ago, I was bored in math and learned almost 80 digits of pi. 3.141592653. I think we get it. It's the digits of pi. Don't ask me why. Young me was bored. Oh, my daughter did this a few years ago and won a prize in school for it. You're not alone. And in an attempt to one-up this person's daughter, the intellectual replies, "My price was that the math teacher never took me to solve a question on the blackboard. And when we wrote a test, he forbid me to go earlier. Often I was finished with half of the given time. My brain operates at such a velocity that mere mortals could never catch up with me, so I wrote down questions on the test sheet and solved them, or drew doodles and stuff. XDD. 3 laughing reactions for that one. Looks like there's some very smart people in the comments too. 80 places isn't even an impressive number of digits of pi to memorize. You can do it in a relatively short amount of time without any memory tricks or techniques. Hell, I memorized an entire book of the Bible, and I wouldn't use it as proof of my superiority over my peers. Only over others on Reddit. Well, buddy, sounds like you're in the right sub. We have some true intellectuals here. And this next one is in a thread talking about why men talk about wanting to have sex with their guitars. What? Reddit is weird. I speak and write in a way that suits the audience. If I was endeavoring to be more scholarly, I'd speak accordingly, but it seems you were condescending to community college professors. If I had one that was interested in teaching me and could hold my interest, I'd be pleased. Heck, I'd be pleased if I had that at a top-tier university. Plain language is a good thing, condescension, not so much. Rare Reddit intellectual who believes in clear and concise language. Anyone else find the topic a lot stranger than the comment itself? Is it just me? The humor in this video appears to miss the mark for me. Despite varying tastes in comedy, I find that the comedic elements presented to fail to evoke laughter or amusement. The timing, delivery, or content might lack the wit or cleverness that typically resonates with my sense of humor. Comedy is highly subjective, and what may be amusing to one person might not resonate with another. In this instance, the attempts at humor seem forced or fall flat, making it challenging for me to find the video genuinely funny or engaging. It's important to recognize that humor preferences vary wildly, and what appeals to one person may not necessarily appeal to another. My dude, did ChatGPT write this? Anyway, the reply: do you feel accomplished writing all this? Did they even write all this? That guarantee no one read yapping all the time. Just stop talking, broken heart, and 3 shushing emojis. Basically hit them with the
I ain't reading all that.
Tends to happen a lot with these so-called intellectuals. And now what fantasy land is this? We live in a strange time where nerds watch billion-dollar Marvel action movies and the jocks read obscure philosophy texts from ancient eras. Oh, and the so-called nerd here is depicted with a head that's basically a bottomless pit of pure soy, saying, "Can't wait to consume another epic movie." Meanwhile, the Giga Chad intellectual says time to check this Cicero guy out, then it's leg day. But don't forget, every day is brain day. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? This next one considers themselves 99% smarter than all of humanity bare minimum. It could be closer to 100%. No, this isn't narcissism. I am just simply well aware of my capabilities compared from me to most others. Why am I smarter than 99% of people? Well, here's a few reasons. Non-judgment skills, loving, kind, wise, open-minded, quick-learned, well-versed into understanding, cool, unconditional love skills. I know the lines. These should not be crossed by me or anyone, or else big mistake. Don't mess with this Redditor, huh? Lots of experiences. Realist. And this last part, I'm not sure what it means. D arrow L arrow M. D then L then M? I don't know. I pass this fire exit sign several times a day at work as I go to make a cup of tea. I'm intrigued by the way that while the sign is horizontal, it hangs from an angled ceiling of approximately 45 degrees. In order to achieve this, the 2 chains from which it hangs have been cut at unequal lengths. However, chain, unlike string, is made up of segments or links. Is it a coincidence that an exact number of links achieves exactly the correct lengths in order that the sign is horizontal? What if the required length of one chain was somewhere between an exact number of links? One link too many, and that side would hang slightly lower. One link too short, and it would sit higher. Have they shortened a link on one side, or perhaps stretched one on the other? Is the length on chain links determined by the requirements of hanging a sign from a 45-degree angled ceiling? Are ceiling angles adjusted to match the ratio of links required to hang signs? Or perhaps they're close enough that the human eye cannot tell that the sign is not in fact actually level. I prefer to think that there's some sort of universal constant at play here, like pi, the Avogadro constant, or Planck's number. I can't stop thinking about this. I think honestly you're just overthinking this. When one's gifts of intelligence, energy, personality, charm, wit, humor, and physical fitness in every way are not accepted, included, and allowed to have a stable foothold, they wither at best and turn into antagonistic forces at worst. The solution is to accept and include, which may include forgiveness of whatever variety, for image and perception are not reality, but are treated as reality in social situations. This is why good people die off, and fraudulent people can often flourish from hollow shows. The real question is, are those gifts you actually possess, or are these simply perceptions of yourself? And now we have ourselves a master of the thesaurus. Why do they always have to say so little with so many words? The latest extrapolation of the ludicrous maze that is the continued effort to simply rejoin 2 pieces of wood. Upon application of fine sanding grits, it was found that the structural integrity of the repair had been brought into question when the piece had decided upon itself to spontaneously disassemble itself within my hands. So a further third application of structural epoxies was liberally applied, as is self-evident in the photograph aforementioned. The working principle of the further quest for structural rigidity was to be employed by two interlocking struts of epoxy that would span the intermediary sedimentary interlocking epoxy layers, and interlink with both original pieces of wood bearing strain pressures under the employ of right-angle reinforcement locks. The utilization of the as yet unverified mystery pigmentation product yielded a very dark crimson, yet unfortunately slow-flowing liquid, which has led to the necessitation for massive levels of excessive buildup to ensure structural flow into fortifying micro crevices carved within the implement. It will be a pleasure to chip away and truly reveal the final form of the apparatus, which stands as a testament to the foundation of repeated attempts and failure of several engineering steps that have failed to alleviate the condition suffered by individuals around the globe, to do what no man, no woman, and even no alien should ever endeavor to do: repair what I have learned to be what is effectively a dirt-cheap smoking apparatus manufactured in a way so as to be a consumable product, so extensively that it is arguably considered by those in the know to be the actual, historical pipe of Theseus, or perhaps the pipe of Thesaurus. Now, a lot of people in this thread thought it was a joke, perhaps pretending to be overly philosophical to set up the pipe of Theseus joke, but OP insists that they were actually being serious and that they always talk like this. And now an IQ of 130 prevents him from being biased. Since when does IQ prevent bias? I don't know. Wow, what a totally unbiased overgeneralization. Aren't you so clever? And the intellectual replies, what do you expect me to reply to that? I have an IQ of 130, which puts me just shy of the top 2% of the world's population. If you want to have a discussion, perhaps bring some points to discuss, and some intellectual ones at that. And now it's always the people typing paragraphs that get corrected. Friggin' genius. Excuse me, that is not how you spell genius, it's Genius. I would explain the irony of this misspelling, but something tells me it would be a wasted effort. I blame the Department of Education for letting their THERE standards fall so low. It's their THEIR. LMAO, this is my favorite thing. And OP, you do not know this subreddit if you think that is a long paragraph. And now most Apple customers are stupid, except for this Redditor. The majority of Apple users are low IQ and stupid. I was on Facebook Market today and the woman was advertising a MacBook 16 2021. I asked her how big is the SSD. She said, do you mean the memory? I said no, you've already put the memory on there, 16 gigabytes of RAM. I said I want to know how big the SSD is, and the stupid cow asked me what an SSD was. I said a hard drive. She goes, I'm sorry, I don't know. This is how Apple is able to charge outrageous amounts of money for their products, because the people buying them are mostly stupid. Unlike me, I'm very smart. And now, I wonder what people with IQ 2 standard deviations higher than him would think of him. Why are we supposed to accept dumb people? Why am I supposed to put up with these idiots? Why doesn't anyone think before they speak? How is it not the individual's fault for being a moron when they're holding all of human knowledge in the palm of their hand the same as the rest of us? No one made you spend all your time scrolling TikTok. No one forced you not to read. At this point, all knowledge is basically free, and you don't even have to leave your house. We need to stop catering to the lowest intelligences in society. Take some individual responsibility. You see, it's a lot smarter to scroll Reddit all day than it is to scroll TikTok all day. So much smarter, in fact. My brain is about to explode, and now we have ourselves a super empath and super smart. Here we go. 1. I'm almost always extremely precise and intentional with my words, when compared to most. That doesn't mean I'm perfect at being precise and intentional, but I try. Here's an intellectual that knows their limits. Perfection is unattainable. So precise and intentional, in fact, that I've almost completely mastered control of my emotions. I had to do this because I was born an extreme empath. I could feel other people's pain so acutely that I could not function. Now I can almost freely pick and choose what emotion to feel, when to feel it, and how strongly to feel it on cue. In my main response, you will find very little of any emotion because when I argue with reasoning, emotion is an obstacle. In the comment you replied to, I was allowing myself to feel some sadness for the state of political discourse, hence why you can read emotion from it. You see, being an empath was just too overwhelming for me, so I learned to become a psychopath. Yes, big brain moves right there. And of course 3, I have been measured as a child using the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale to have an over 99.9th percentile processing speed. You see, they used the adult scale on me because my brain as a child was just beyond the power of any other child's brain. The vast majority of the thought and planning in this comment occurred in what can be described as a split second. Typing it out takes much longer. Perhaps I need to work on my typing speed, but my processing speed assists me in being precise and intentional as well because I can process lots of information in a near instant. That's it for now. I'll prepare the main comment when I have time. That wasn't even the main comment? Bro wrote a whole essay and that was only the preview. And now only the smartest of people can understand the Oppenheimer movie. People that dislike this film don't possess the brain power to comprehend its magnitude. As you see, you must have a certain level of IQ to understand Oppenheimer. And spoilers, it's above 130. And now even the experts said I was too intelligent. Feedback from 2 days of monitoring by experts and psychologists was they couldn't benchmark me against experts because I beat all their records, laughing emoji. I'm too intelligent. I make people feel like they're slow and can't keep up, and sometimes I need to understand that most of the world works at a slower pace and I should take the time to explain my rationale and how I arrive at solutions, instead of jumping 10 steps ahead and expecting everyone to follow, laughing emoji. Cut me deep in the feels, more laughing emojis. Basically, what every one of my exes has told me before, another laughing emoji. Bunch of salty people, you say, laughing emoji. My boss loved it. Said finally someone has said it. You're too clever. Dumb down a bit. You're making us all feel bad. Laughing emoji. Story of my life, hey? Being too intelligent for everyone else. What a struggle. And now is being smart a curse of some sort, or what? Is there a difference? Dimensions are aspects of a reality. Meanwhile, universes are connected worlds, which are changed by fate or events. Dimensions are completely different realities. Universe is a reality changed by fate or events. I'm not a scientist, but I do have thoughts about certain things or functions of life. Oh, I see. I sound smart, don't I? Oh gosh, smiley face, I don't want to be smart. You don't want to be smart? No, unfortunately. Do you? I would like that. I don't see why not. Honestly, it's kinda hard to communicate with people or anyone. It gets in the way of my feelings. Plus, people are so needy for smart people, and the praise, don't get me started, it's so annoying. Honestly, I find that pseudo-intellectuals tend to praise themselves a lot more than other people praise them. Only actually smart people with actual accomplishments get praise. And finally, this enlightened doomer is enlightened. Enlightened by the darkness of this world. How interesting. I seriously cannot understand how people wake up every day and are able to just go about their days as if everything is fine. This leads me to believe that 99.9% of the world is incredibly stupid and/or are lower forms of consciousness, physically unable to comprehend reality as it is. Do you even understand reality, bro? You live in it, but you're too stupid to understand it. The world will soon plunge into turmoil as 2024 will wreak havoc upon the earth. I will let out an evil cackle as heating intensifies at an accelerated pace. And all the people that ignored me about climate change, shunned me, put me down and joked, they will pay the ultimate price. Wait, do you want the world to plunge into turmoil? Just so you can say I told you so? If we spent every hour of every day thinking of all the world's problems, we'd be paralyzed by our own thoughts. So, I'd like to thank all of my channel members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Jade Demby, Catalan Cormendi, Nightcrawler, Stormcloud the Wolf, VicMeister1999, Zoe Horsham, and Goodnight Cheems. If you'd like to join, just click the join button below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment if you've got something on your mind.